2015 Toyota Camry catalytic converter replacement. It's right here. It's right under this heat shield. We got to take out the heat shields and take this out. This is a Camry LE 2.5 liter, and it's a 2015. Let's get to it. Let's take this front heat shield off first. It's a bolt right here, and then I believe there's two on the bottom, down here and right there. Let's go ahead and start getting these out. Here's all my new parts I'm going to be using. I got a new cat converter. There's my part number. There's the gasket for it. And then there's a manifold gasket in here too, exhaust manifold gasket. I'm going to link everything in the description. And then I also got these extra bolts right here for the bottom, for where the exhaust mounts up. So let's get a 12 millimeter. I also got some part numbers on the studs too, on the exhaust manifold. So check the description. I'm going to have all the tools needed, all the parts and stuff. So go and get these bolts off right here. All right, cool. And then there's these ones down here. All right, get this one. And then the last one for the top heat shield is right over here. You want to be kind of careful with these because these are exhaust bolts and they tend to break. I don't know really how you can be careful. You know, you just try to take them off. I guess just don't yank on it. Try to take them off slowly. And then you can take this little engine cover off too, because this is going to get in the way a little bit. This just pulls off. You just kind of wiggle it and pull it up. Move it out of the way, and then we'll get this heat shield out of here. Cool. Put this to the side somewhere safe where it's not going to get stepped on or messed up. Now with that off, we'll have access to the nuts that are holding the exhaust manifold onto the engine block. These guys right here. They're all accessible, and then there's two down there that are attached to the exhaust pipe on the bottom. We're going to get this O2 sensor unplugged as well. It just connects right here. What you want to do is you want to just push this little tab with your thumb, and then with your other hand pull on the other connector to pull it straight backwards. Do not pull on the wire harness. You'll ruin your sensor. Okay, pull that, and then there's this little like clamp right here. It's a little plastic clamp. You can just take a flathead or something and then carefully like pop it loose. Don't stab your coolant hose though, because you're gonna get hot coolant in your face. So just open it enough just to get this off. Cool, like that. And we'll just try to avoid that wire harness for now. And down here is a bolt that needs to come off, and on the other side there's one as well down here. It's like a clamp also attached to the engine block, so we got to get that off as well. On the bottom there are these 14 millimeters. They're these little like spring compressed bolts, and I use a 14 millimeter to get them off. This is under the car. I recommend using a oil penetrant on all the bolts you can, like maybe the day before. This exhaust is under the car. You got an O2 sensor here, so when you unbolt this, it might drop. I kind of secured it with straps, and I unplugged this O2 sensor so the pipe wouldn't drop down and rip those wires. I feel like maybe disconnect the rear O2 sensor, but you don't need to strap it, because when I undid it, it didn't really come down that far. I'll show you what I mean. So I undid these. These are actually awesome exhaust bolts. Usually their exhaust bolts break, or they're a problem, but these Toyota ones are cool how they do this. I'm gonna link some new ones in the description. Here they are right here. You could probably reuse these if they're in good condition. This just drops down a little bit, but it sits on the subframe, so you don't really got to worry about it. Okay, so now that that's off, obviously if you're in your driveway doing this, you're gonna have to be creative on how to get under the car and do that. Just do it safely. Please don't die doing a silly catalytic converter on a Camry. Okay, so these bolts I mentioned before, we're gonna get these out on the bottom. It was a 14 millimeter right here. All right, so we got these out, and then get the other one down there. Some of these bolts, you're gonna have to get creative on your own. Use your extensions in different ways. Swivel sockets, wrenches. Opening wrenches where you need to. Okay, so we got that out. Those were the two bolts on the bottom bracket. And then, like I said, if you can spray these before you do the job, then you'd be in a lot better shape, because then you lower the risk of these breaking. I'll link an oil penetrant in the description. But, you know, I know that's not really how life goes, especially because you have to take the heat shield off. But, you know, spray it maybe before if you can. Even like 5 minutes before, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and get these off now. Just one at a time. And save the nuts because we're going to reuse them. Try not to drop them. Alright, we'll go ahead and get this out. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get these out. This one down here, I use basically a 6-inch extension with a long deep socket. 6-inch extension with a deep socket, and I was able to reach in here kind of perfect. So if you have a 6-inch or 2-3 inches and a deep socket, that's kind of the length that worked for me. Do what you want, of course. I'm sure you got your own set of tools to get back there. Go ahead and get this last one out here. Cool. And then I had to get this one off. I kind of had to sneak my little wrench in there, my little ratchet, and then use the open end wrench to put leverage on my little ratchet like that. That's how I got that one off. I'm sure you could take the alternator out and get it out too, but I just kind of did it this way to avoid doing that. But like if you have like a small 12 swivel, you may be able to get away with it. But that's just what I did for that particular one. But there's 100 ways to get nuts off. So anyways, once those are off, we're going to pull this off. Go ahead and just gently wiggle it and pull it forward like that. And then it should just come out. Make sure the O2 sensor is unplugged. And then boom, that's how we remove it. Set it on the ground gently. We're going to switch some stuff over. Okay, cool. Got that off. Now we need to switch the heat shield to the new Cat. And we need to get these brackets switched over and these nuts. I had to get new studs. I'll tell you why in a sec. And we got to switch our O2 sensor over. So we'll go ahead and start switching everything over. First, the O2 sensor. It's a 22 millimeter. If you're using an O2 sensor socket, it'll be like a 7/8, I believe. So we'll go ahead and just kind of put weight on this and get this loose. If you could spray the O2 sensor where the threads are, that'll help out. Do not spray inside the little holes near the threads though, because then you could ruin your O2 sensor. But we'll go ahead and get this loose. Now when you spin this, you want to spin the wire harness with it so you don't twist and stress the wire harness right here. When you put it in, if you have like a tiny bit of anti-seize, you might want to put on the threads. You don't have to, but you can if you want. Maybe just wipe off the sensor a little bit if it has a bunch of corrosion on it or whatever, or crud, I mean. But we'll get that off. And yeah, be really careful with your... Hey guys, real quick, I know it's annoying, but if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'll help me out a lot. I'm trying to reach 100K subs. It costs you nothing, it's free, and it helps me out quite a bit. I also got the hookup with Oxido LED lights. They're the brightest, best LED lights in the game right now. I got a large 15% off promo code at the end of the video, so check that out. And last thing, guys, I also got the hookup to Quantum Soap. It's a men's soap company, made in America, all natural ingredients. Each bar has its own fragrance and manly smell. They even have bars that are extra gritty for mechanics. So check it out. Alright, back to the video. Alright, so I got my new catalytic converter here. I got my heat shields I'm going to switch over. It's basically pretty simple. You just take the bolts out and then you put it onto the other side. And then put the bolts in on the other one right over there. Be careful, you know, don't drag your new catalytic converter around. Now these brackets got to be switched over as well, but the studs that are in the old one are like non-removable, so I had to get new studs for these right here. I'll link some in the description, but these are just like a 14 millimeter nut. You just get these off. Maybe if you could figure out a way to get these studs out and put them in your new catalytic converter, then that'd be cool for you. But I had to get new ones, basically because like they don't have nothing to grab on to untwist them. The new ones have like a head where you could unscrew or screw them in. Yeah, I'll show you what I mean in a sec. But yeah, these just got nothing to really grab onto to unscrew these. All right, but we'll go and get these off. The heat shields are pretty straightforward. It's just like 4 bolts on one of them. You just take them off, you just line it up on the other one and then put them on. Obviously you're not going to put the top heat shield on because you still got to put the nuts on where the mounting face is. We're just going to do the ones that are on this old Cat and switch it over. I do not recommend going without them. I recommend definitely having them because these heat shields protect the components around the Cat as well. Here's my new gasket for the exhaust pipe. You got to get one of these. I'll link it. It's really easy. Just goes on like that, and then whenever you tighten the bolts down, it'll squish this. But just get it on like that. If you don't have this on, then you're gonna have a loud noise. Get our O2 sensor in right here. Again, I can't stress enough, be careful for the wire harness. Alright, I get this in here, and I can't stress enough, you know, don't stress the wire harness out on that. We're going to cinch this down with a 22mm. It doesn't have to be mega tight. You don't want to strip the threads out on the exhaust, but just cinch it down pretty good. And then once that's in, should be looking kind of like it. Now, I had to replace the studs on the bottom bracket because the old studs didn't come off. So my new one came with no studs like this. So I got some new ones. They look like this, and they come with a new nut. They have a Torx head, so you could screw them on. And I'll link these in the description. But as far as, this is a Toyota Cat, so I don't know if an aftermarket one will come with these on it. But as far as the Toyota one, I had to get new studs. So I'll just screw these in, and then I'll tighten them down with the top of the bolt. That's a Torx. I'll just use an inverted Torx. I think you could probably use like a 10mm to tighten those down too. 12-point 10mm wrench. Okay. I'm not sure the exact size for a wrench, but you could probably get an open-end wrench on there and tighten them down. So just go and get these brackets kind of loosely on here a little bit, because then when I put this into the car, I want these to be able to move a little bit so I can line them up with the holes that are on the engine block. But I will tighten them up a little bit. Okay, get the old one off here. Sometimes they could be stubborn. Again, like, oil penetrant is your friend on this type of job with these bolts and nuts. Go ahead and screw this on here. Alright, cool. Man, I should have sped this part of the video up. Sorry, guys. Alright, and then we already switched the gasket over. Make sure the old gasket is on the old Cat so it's not stuck in the pipe. Then we're going to get this exhaust manifold gasket off. This just comes off like this. Yeah, I mean, we'll just discard this. You're not supposed to reuse them. This one looks like it was getting a little old. Okay. Get rid of that. And then I take a little brass brush or like a little wire brush and clean up the mounting surface a little bit. You could use whatever you got. Just don't scratch the engine block with like a barbecue brush or something. I've seen dudes do it. And just get something that's really light and just clean up all the you know, whatever's on here. Make it look nice like this. So there we go. Here's our gasket manifold part number. Here it is right here. And I believe this is dummy proof, so you can only put this on one way. So you don't need to worry about putting it on backwards or nothing. I believe it can only go on one way. So we'll put it on like this. Just patiently just kind of work it all the way to the engine block. Alright, cool. Now that that's on, we're going to put our Cat in. Just carefully lower this guy in. Hopefully you're still maintaining your patience throughout this job. And just put that on the studs there. And then we'll kind of line the bottom brackets up. And what I do is I put the, I just kind of loosely put everything on. I don't tighten anything down yet. And then I do the engine ones first. These engine nuts. Tighten these down. I'm going to try to put torque specs in the description, so check for that. I know I always get lit up in the comments if I forget to put torque specs in the video or in the description, but check for that. Also, again, check for links to you know, parts, maybe some tools, and then some other products I got going on. Alright, so I got the bolts tight, and then I also got the heat shield on. Got those tight, and so the upper part is pretty much done. Now the lower part is pretty easy. All you got to do is just line this pipe up and then get your exhaust bolts. I put a little bit of anti-seize on this just in case I got to take it back apart. And then I just tightened them down, and then after those were tight, I went ahead and just finished tightening down the brackets, the lower brackets on the catalytic converter down there. You could wait to put the heat shield on the top for the last if you want, if you think that you'll have better chance getting these bottom bolts. But yeah, they're down there. And then don't forget to plug in the oxygen sensor as well. Got those tight there. And then I took the heat shield off just for a sec, but just to check something, but it's good. Okay, and then tighten this down, and then plug this post O2 sensor in again. You may not even need to unplug this, but I just did it because I was paranoid about the exhaust pipe dropping and stretching the wire harness out. But yeah, then get the brackets tightened up down there. I know we already went over that, and then plug your O2 sensor in. Put it under this little clamp again, and you know, make sure, double check everything, make sure everything's good. And that's all I got, guys. So hope this video helps. All right, guys, that's all the information I got for you. The rest of the video is just a couple products and other stuff I got going on. Totally up to you if you want to stick around. I got a 15% off promo code for Oxido LED headlights. These are the best headlights in my opinion. They just recently upgraded all their technology, so their LED lights are even brighter than the others that are still using old tech. I've had many LED lights as far as like headlights, interior lights, whatever, brake lights, and these are the best. They don't flicker, they're not cheap, they don't like go out on you. All you gotta do is go to the Oxido website, type in your vehicle information, then look up what kind of light you want. All their products will pop up, and these are available on Amazon as well. But if you go to the website and use GearmoAuto in the discount code spot, you will get 15% off. So if you're looking for new brighter upgrades, check these out. Hey, what's up, guys? I want to tell you about Quantum Soap. It's a new men's soap company. They got many different bars of soap, each with their own ingredients and fragrance and texture. They even have grittier bars for like mechanics or whoever, like the dark matter bar. It's extra gritty. If you go to their website, it's free shipping over $50. Each bar is about $5. You also get a 10% discount code for your first order. They're coming out with many new soaps. It's definitely worth checking out. Of course, I have a discount code for you. It's GearmoAuto. If you type it in at checkout, you'll get 10% off. You could use it as many times as you want every time you order. These make great gifts to husbands, boyfriends, uncles, nephews. They even got the Galactic Mechanic Bar. It's super gritty for mechanics, so check that out. Type in the GearmoAuto promo code. That way they know you're one of the homies. And that's it, guys.
You're pretty good.